All right, ladies, we're going to go ahead and start. If I can stop these from progressing the way they have. Okay, awesome. Okay, we're going to go ahead and start because we want to start at 9 o'clock on the dot. I know everybody has things to do, and there's a lot of information that I wanted to cover with you. And please, as I go along, I don't always get a chance. I'm going to try to be better about that to look, but I do not mind you interrupting me. So just unmute your mic and say, hey, this is Shelly, I'm going to say something, and then say it. Because that way, if two of you do it at the same time, we'll just, I'll say, okay, Shelly, go, versus Rachel, if you both say it at the same time. But let's go ahead and have questions as we move along so that we cover, so that as I share some things I really want to share with you all, we address your questions as well. These webinars are actually meant to keep us empowered. I'm a big believer in teaching people to gain all the knowledge they can, and not in a complicated way. So very simply put, very, layman terms, what does the body do? Why does it do it? Because the more we understand that, the better prepared we are to share soul and understand the way soul works. So when I do these webinars, I sometimes try to bring you things that I'm thinking in the field, what do we use? What are we needing the most? And when I've thought lately of these products like Renew, we had a webinar on Renew, and ProBio IQ, it was all about what makes them different to anything out there. Why are they not a competition? Why do we not have a competition? And so the whole idea behind Verdezymes tonight is the same thing. There's a lot of enzymes out there in the market. And I think what we're going to be asked along the way is, what makes our enzymes different? Because if we understand that, we can convey it better, and we can talk about it more, because sometimes we think enzymes are only for people who have stomach issues. And so that's the only time we mention it. And if you don't have stomach issues when you talk to me, then you don't need Verdezymes. And so we want to talk about tonight how that's not true, how we all need Verdezymes. And it's why it is part of our package, initial balance packet number 3. And it's also why it's part of our detox package number 7. So just remember, I never stop learning. We're always learning. And we also want to teach those around us to be able to continue to have knowledge. So these webinars are not just for specialists. They are for people who are just getting on with soul, who probably still aren't even jumping on the soul train. They're just, I don't know, they're watching from afar. So then we present these webinars as nutrition webinars, because everybody wants to know the most they can about nutrition. And who gives free nutrition webinars without there always being a catch at the end? So we can invite people, and you all can invite people, and then they'll be listening and making their own decisions. They'll be calling us when they're ready. All we're doing is inviting them to the webinars. So use it as a tool to bring people in, just by sharing the information of, hey, we have this webinar and it's going to be on this topic, and I get to jump on free and I get to invite somebody. So you want to be my +1? And then let them jump on. So think of little things that make people feel like, wow, she only gets to invite 1, or she only gets to invite 5 and she thought of me. So every week I get to invite 5 people and you're one of them. Will you jump on, with me? So think of little different things like that that will want people, will help people to see the importance of jumping on. Like, wow, this is great, because not everybody gets to jump on. So Verdezymes, no competition whatsoever in the market, and we're going to see why. It has a lot to do with our label. So there are a lot of enzymes in the market, and a lot of them have fillers. And we know it because there'll be names we don't understand when we pick them up. Sometimes we look at our Verdezymes, and I'm going to come down here to the label so you can see, and we think that these are fillers. We think that silicon dioxide is filler. We think that, what is the other one here? We think that everything's being covered with this, that fiber tract, you know, some people might think that fiber tract is a filler. People are wondering, what is cellulose? So we want to be able to understand the labels ourselves, because we will get questions on the labels from people who are not just going to take our word for thing, but our word for fact. They're going to want to ask questions. So as we think of that, our product doesn't contain fillers at all. The way we know how potent and the type of quality we have will always be because Sol uses the FCC, which is a code of, it's a food chemical codex. And here, let me show you what that means. See right here on the label that we have right after our protease, we have something that says 20,000 HUT, 20 SAPU, all these numbers here and letters that we're like, what the heck? Okay, this is how we know we have a quality product. There are a lot of things in the market that will have the name of the protease, and it will not have a number. It will simply have milligrams. Now, here we do have milligrams because these are plant source. This is different. But on protease, when you see the name of the protease, and we'll talk about in a minute why Sol doesn't give us the names here and what exactly that means. But as long as we see next to protease these numbers and letters that we don't need to scientifically understand, that is our indication that we have a high quality product. If we get a product that on the protease only says milligrams, they're not telling us how potent that product is, because milligrams doesn't tell us anything. It's the other numbers, the HUT, the SAPU, that's what gives us value of potency. So when people say, why should I use your you know, this is the other enzyme I'm looking at, tell them, hey, give me the name of your product, and you do the research. You go in there and look at if it has that or not. And that'll be one of the factors that you'll show to say, listen, you're gonna know that this is a potent product because Sol actually told us the amount and not just in milligrams. So these are the other two. These were the ones I was looking for. These are the other two, konjac and xanthan, that a lot of people think are fillers, but they're not. They're also just used, and a lot of people think they're only to thicken our product. Well, this is a capsule. So really, in our case, there would be no sense to thicken Verdezymes because it's a capsule. But a lot of companies, yes, they use them to thicken something that, you know, that you're going to drink. The reason that Sol put it in our product in Verdezymes is because, number one, it is resistant to the stomach acid. And the reason it works is because it's a type of fiber. It comes from a plant, and it's a type of fiber that when it thickens a bit, it almost becomes sticky, so that if you think of it that way in your mind, so that now all the protease and all the other plant enzymes attach themselves to the xanthan and the konjac, and now it can go through the system and reach the intestines, which is where we need it to reach. And when that happens, now we have a product, now we have enzymes that work not just at a stomach level, but actually further into the gastrointestinal. Because it does that, because Sol put these two gums in there, and it's not bubble gum, right? Because Sol put those two in there, we now have something that is more time release, that doesn't just dissolve here, but actually travels further in, and so it is a type of time release product. It doubles the absorption time. If I were to usually just lose it right away, I don't. Now, because of these two ingredients, it flows a little further in. The reason we have silicon dioxide, and I see a lot of questions about that on Facebook. What is that? It's got to be something weird. We shouldn't have things like that in our products. And again, the reason is, and it's natural, the reason it's there is because it helps to mix all the ingredients. Why is that important? Well, because when we have a batch of Verdezymes before it's put into the capsule, we want to make sure that that whole batch is mixed well, like everything is mixed completely. We don't want certain parts of the protease and the plant enzymes to clump together and separate themselves in the batch. And then when they go into the capsules, now we have different amounts in the capsule. We don't want that to happen. That's what it means by no clumping, because now each capsule will have the same dose and the same amount of everything that our capsule says is there. That's why silicon dioxide is in there. And the reason it says cellulose capsule is because all of Sol is plant-based, so our capsules are as well. A lot of enzymes in the market have capsules that are made from animal. So Sol doesn't even do that with our capsules. That's what a cellulose capsule is. So remember, no fillers, none of these weird names mean anything different than things that are needed, really needed in the product, not just to make it, oh, we had some space here, let's fill it in. We have no window dressing. So if you see a product and you're reading the ingredients, it wasn't just because, well, we'll just throw a little bit in there and see, and just so that we can say we have it. Sol doesn't work that way. So any product ingredient you see will have a considerable amount of it. So always think of that, not just with Verdezymes, but with everything. When it comes to Verdezyme, and we're coming down to reading the ingredients on the calming herbal blend, for example, and we see wood betony and peppermint and marshmallow, it wasn't just a sprinkling amount of this. We actually have a considerable amount that is enough to affect the body. So we are going to have the benefits of those products. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Let's talk about other things that actually make Verdezymes different. You'll read, and people will read, that trace minerals enhance the benefit of enzymes. And that's why there are enzymes out in the market that have trace minerals. And literally, it'll say the name of the trace mineral, or minerals, if it has calcium, if it has iron, if it has whatever it has. And they'll list it, and they'll say our product is better because it has minerals. Well, Sol doesn't use vitamins or minerals because Sol uses whole plants. That doesn't mean our product doesn't have minerals. Our product has minerals. It has trace minerals that enhance the benefits of enzymes. So when someone says, yeah, I'm looking for a product that has minerals, but yours doesn't have it, here's our answer. We have our third group of ingredient, which is marshmallow, peppermint, passion flower, all these you see here. These are all plants that are high in minerals. Wood betony is from the mint family. Peppermint is very high in minerals and trace minerals. So we have it. So we can with confidence say, oh, don't worry about it. It's even better because you know what? Minerals after your 30s and vitamins, you don't absorb them well. You don't digest them well. But plants, it's like food. Your body will always digest. So we've got a better product and it's in there. What you're looking for is in there. One of the neat things about wood betony, which is included here, is that it is such a neat herb, and we talk about it so little now. The West, where we live, in this side of the world, the West side in the West, we talk about it so little because our society is a very fast-paced society. So we're always looking for something that works right away, and wood betony doesn't work that way. It's like we put here on the, like I put here on the PP on the slide, mild and cumulative. It's not fast and strong. It's not a remedy. It's a tonic. Tonics work a little different. They help the body fix itself, and it does it slowly, but it does it. So sometimes when people are looking for a quick fix in terms of what wood betony does, to calm or to relax, a lot of the times they're not going to find it, but it is going to, the more you're on this product, you're going to have a lot of results. Why do I say that? Because there's a lot of people on Facebook saying, well, I take Verdezymes and I feel this burning sensation, or I have this reaction when I take enzymes. And you're always thinking, why, if it's a calming product, is it doing that? Why isn't it working the way I believe it should work? So the longer the person is on the product, the better they will feel, especially on products like Verdezyme. A lot of people will have a reaction right away and it will be very good. But when it doesn't happen, our answer to those people or to those clients or what have you is, hey, just hang in there. Adaptogens work a little different. but they're awesome. And the reason you're having that reaction, your body needs that help. It's just going to probably take a little longer, but it is fixing something. Remember, they're tonics. So a lot of our plants, aside from our adaptogens, a lot of the plants that Soul uses are tonics, which means they're not a remedy. They will work, but sometimes they will take a little longer. I love what we read a lot about wood betony: sell your coat and buy wood betony. We hear that phrase a lot. We've heard it in webinars. The reason that phrase, if you've ever wondered, what does that mean? If you've ever wondered what that means, that was at a time when there was no central heating or electricity, and people they could barely afford one coat. So when they would say, and this was in the old Italy, when they would say, sell your coat and buy wood betony, it was, man, you were really desperate if you were selling your coat. But that's how awesome wood betony was back then, and it revered that much. I remember reading something that said that like for 46 ailments, 47, anyway, that's almost the same, wood betony would work. So it covers so many things, not just digestive. And so think of it anyway as something that's going to help with so many things, but teach people to be patient, because that's one of the things that's going to be needed. So let's talk about something else that makes Verdezymes different. And it has to do with our protease blend. So it's the second section of our ingredients that you see here. And if you've ever wondered, because I know I wonder everything, protease 1, protease 2, protease 3, and 4, there will be people that will come to us and say, so listen, I don't know, I don't think I need your product because I'm looking for a product that has pepsin. I'm looking for a product that has papain, that has trypsin. And we'll look at our enzymes and we'll say, gosh, it isn't in here. I don't see any bromelain. I don't see any of the stuff these people are asking me for. Well, this is what protease is. We are not told what proteases the company Soul has used, because once Soul tells people that, then it can be duplicated. So that's part of what keeps Soul so safe. But the reason people are out there, and so here's what we do when someone says, I'm looking for something that has papain, or I'm looking for something that has bromelain, and forgive me if I'm pronouncing all these wrong. Remember, I'm Hispanic. I don't even know how to pronounce half of this stuff. But so when people come to us and ask for that, and we look at our product and we're like, oh my gosh, it doesn't have it. The answer is, why do you want that? A lot of the times people don't know why they want it. A lot of the times they do. So if they're specifically asking for something, they'll tell us, well, because I heard that will help me with the pH I have, or I heard that will help me digest this particular thing, or whatever. That's what our protease 1, 2, 3, and 4 are. They are different types of protease that work. And yes, some of them may very well have what they're looking for, but tell them Soul doesn't give the names out because it's the way they protect their formula. But what they're looking for is in there. They're looking for something that will help them digest proteins, and they're looking for something that will help them clean the blood. That's what we have in protease. The reason the company gave it 4 different numbers is because it works in different pH levels. So some people will be on medication and it changes their pH. Some people will be coming to us and eating processed foods hugely. I mean, I talk to clients who are truck drivers, so you can imagine how they eat. They're on the road 7 days a week, 5 days. Sometimes they come home on the weekend. Sometimes they don't come home for a month. So yeah, there's a lot of people that travel a lot for work, so they're always eating processed food. So people who are on medication, which is a great amount of people that we deal with, people who are eating excess processed food, people who don't drink enough water, people who eat too much animal protein. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner, there's something meat. And 7 days a week, I'm eating meat. I don't have a break. It's always some meat. So it's patty in the morning of sausage, then I have a sandwich, and then I have a salad with meat. So meat, meat, meat. All that changes our pH level years after years of doing that. Some people never eat raw food. So what happens? We've got different pH levels, and because of that, we need different protease to address that. And so Sol understood that and put 4 different kinds for us. And with those 4 different kinds, practically covered every pH imbalance that there is out there. So people who come looking for a specific protease, our answer is, don't worry about it. It's covered. It's there. It's for the reason you're looking for it. You're looking for it for this. They are there, and you'll see it as you begin to use the product. The reason it's not specified is because Sol protects its formula that way. But you know it's potent because look at all the numbers it has afterwards. They gave us the potency. Another thing that Sol did was they looked at how much amount of protease people needed, and then they doubled it. So what we have is double the amount of protease that you would normally need. That means that sometimes 1 capsule, because see our serving size, it's 2. So sometimes 1 capsule will do the work for some people who aren't eating a lot. But the more I want, I can even continue to duplicate it. But it's why sometimes 2 capsules does the work for people, whereas in other companies or with other products, they're having to take more of it. We have double the dose in our product. Another thing that we want to remember when it comes to enzymes and how people don't just need it. So that we just covered up to now what makes our enzymes different to everybody else's. Now let's talk about why everybody needs them. Unless we are individuals who are only eating raw food, we all need enzymes. Because when we are eating cooked or processed food, it is not being digested without the help of enzymes. Why? Because there's no enzymes in what we're eating. And so what is happening is we are eating, the food is not getting fully digested. What's that called? It's partially digested. And that's the way it enters into the rest of our intestines until it gets to the colon, and then it comes into the bloodstream. So when the bloodstream receives food that is not digested, not properly digested, the immune system now gets a signal and it begins to attack this because it's a toxic invader. It's not, it realizes that this stuff undigested shouldn't be there. So now I have an immune system doing a job that is not its job. Its job is not to help me by no means digest, much less attack undigested food. And so now I have an immune system overworking, and unnecessarily at that, because that's not a toxin for the body. But now you understand why a lot of autoimmune illnesses are developed. Because autoimmune illnesses is the immune system attacking itself. Why would the immune system attack itself? The body will never do anything to harm you. So why is it happening? That's why. Because we have undigested food running all over rampant, and there goes the immune system attacking our tissue, our blood at first, and then our tissue, because all that gets lodged into our tissue. So here's the problem we have when we want to treat symptoms, or when people want to treat symptoms. When the immune system starts to work so much because I didn't digest my food well, one of the things that happens is the white blood cell count goes up. So now we go to the doctor, and the doctor, because we're feeling sick. People go to the doctor because they feel sick. And the doctor doesn't know what they have. How could they? They don't know the lifestyle the person has. They don't know what they do and don't do. And sometimes people won't tell the doctor because the doctor won't ask. So there's a lot of things the doctor can't put together. And all they know is somebody's coming to me and wanting to know what's going on. Let me run tests. And the tests come back and your white blood cells are high. And so the doctor is trained that when there are high white blood cells, wow, let's worry about this and we should, because it could be bone tumors, it could be bone marrow disease, it could be leukemia, it could be a lot of things. You Google white blood cells increase, there's a lot of options out there that, things that might happen. But a lot of the times it's none of those. I'm not saying that it isn't all the time. Obviously, if you have bone tumors, if you have bone marrow disease, or all these other things we mentioned, yes, your white blood cells will be high. But a lot of the times the doctor will come back and say, yeah, it's not that, and it's not that, and it's not that. But I don't know, your white blood cells are high. Let's just keep investigating. And they will run test after test to finally, end up, I don't know where. But the point is, keep in mind that partially digested food, which is what a great amount of the population is running around with, will make your immune system work harder, and the white blood cells will very well increase. So one of the reasons that happens, and I see that question on Facebook a lot. Have you seen it? What do I do? I went to the doctor and my white blood cells are high. Why don't we first of all start using enzymes and see if that doesn't solve the problem? Because inflammation is caused by partially digested food and an immune system that is actively attacking it and causing that. So think of that every time someone comes to you and says, I have white blood cells that are way out of control, or the numbers are too high, or are getting higher and they don't know why. Let's start using enzymes. Let's use them on an empty stomach. Let's use them every time you eat, because definitely that is going to be something that will help regardless of what's going on. Another thing that happens a lot is that the blood thickens. When the food isn't digested well, the blood thickens, because what happens? We're having partially digested food coming into the bloodstream. So now the blood thickens, the red blood cells clump, and we have names for these illnesses, right? And so now people start going to the doctor because they have migraines, they have chronic fatigue, they have circulatory problems like high blood pressure, and the doctor does tests. Oh, your blood is thick. Let's give you a blood thinner. Oh, you have clumping of the red blood cells. Always think, again, that is lack of enzymes. There is something going on with the digestion on this individual that may very well be causing all this. This is going to be at the root no matter what. So they could have had a lot of other things happening, but that's at the root. So we need to think of enzymes for almost everything that comes our way. Years of poor eating habits will result in fat that is not digested, in protein that is not digested. So those deposits stay in the blood and they attach themselves to the arteries as plaque, and now we have a narrowing of arteries. And so now we have circulatory issues. So with what does that tell us? With circulatory issues, I need to use enzymes. But see what would happen if I was looking at this only as symptoms? If I was looking at my white blood cell count being high only as a symptom, I would never think of using Verdezymes. If I was thinking of, oh, my blood is thickening, what do we have that's good for the circulation? That would be our train of thought, because I'm trying to treat the symptom. And I'd miss out on the fact that Verdezymes is so important. If I have plaque in the arteries, who would think Verdezymes? If I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what's good for the circulatory system? And we're thinking, oh, omegas. And while all that is right, we're not addressing the root, because what will help dissolve all that is going to be the enzymes, the Verdezymes. So think of that. Our product digests proteins, digests carbs, and digests fats. Look what happens when this is not digested. And I put it here on a picture, on a slide so you could see it. When proteins are not digested, viruses are covered in protein film. Parasites are covered in they're made out of protein. Bacteria, funguses, the plural for that, that's all made of protein. So what does that tell me? That when someone comes to me and has a viral infection, or has a virus, or has a bacteria, or whatever they have like that, or parasites, or a fungus, they're fighting a fungus. If I treat that only by illness, by symptom, I'm going to be thinking, what boosts the immune system? Oh yeah, Excel. And what else? See? And then we're going to miss out on the importance of enzymes. So I need to always think enzymes. I need enzymes for this. And this is the reason why. Protein is not being digested. And so eventually it turns into all these things that the person is coming to us for, or is going to the doctor for, and then eventually to us. When carbs are not digested, they ferment. So when proteins don't digest, they rot, and we have these results we were talking about. When carbs don't digest, because no one's taking enzymes, they ferment. And what does that cause? Well, that's causing discomfort, bloating, sometimes even pain. People are coming to us and saying, I'm really gassy. And sometimes that train of thought quickly takes us to enzymes. So that's not a hard one to point at. But what's the other thing? Fats that don't get digested, they become rancid. And then what happens? And this one's another one that's interesting. This one you would have never thought you need enzymes for, because when fats are not digested, you have a hormone imbalance. Why? Because fat needs to be digested so that new hormones are made and so that old hormones are eliminated. For that to work well, the hormonal system, we need to have fats, and they need to be digested well. And so let's see, someone said something. Is there any situation, let's see what your question is. I have so many things open here. Is there any situation where it would be harmful for a person to take Verdezymes, such as being on a certain medication that would interfere? Verdezymes help you digest food, so that shouldn't be a problem. I don't know that you're being very specific for what they're taking, but I can't think of anything right now that enzymes would interfere with. It's just enzymes, remember, used to be in food we ate, and Sol did nothing different. If you were talking about enzymes from another company that has animal products, probably, I don't know, but we're talking about plant enzymes. So one of the safest things in terms of enzymes, and it used to be in the food we ate. So this is just a way to bring it from plants into our bodies. So it's the same thing. So there should not be any interaction with anything else when it comes to enzymes. So when fats are not digested, I'm going to have an issue with my hormones. Look what else we're going to have an issue with. We're going to have an issue with gallstones and gallbladder. So now when someone comes with gallbladder pain or gallstone, or I don't want to have issues in that department, enzymes are going to be very important. Now that's you can kind of figure that one out. Gallstones, that's digestive. Yes, I need enzymes. But there's going to be a lot of things that if you go by symptoms, you cannot figure out, like very dry skin. You would never think that very dry skin would require enzymes. You wouldn't. You'd be sitting there going, okay, definitely omegas, definitely the Solflex AC cream. See, so we have to get out of that mentality of this for this, this for that. Once we understand enzymes are so important for everything, now we understand why it's in package number 3 and we all need it. Now we understand why we kept it on the detox package and we all need it. Because dry skin means that I may very well be eating the good fats, but they're not being digested. And if they're not being digested, one of the things that's going to present itself is issues at the skin level. It's going to be very dry and makes it easier to have a whole bunch of other issues. So we definitely need to think of enzymes for basically everything. Okay, so now let me see what they said. Okay. All right, so what does that mean? When it comes to enzymes, what's and all these things that we've talked about, what's the solution? First of all, I'm always going to consider Verdezymes, and I'm also going to add something to that. I'm going to chew my food well, and I'm going to avoid drinks with my meals. I have a lot of people telling me, and maybe with the exception of cinnamate, because you want to balance your blood sugar when you have a cake or something like that. But other than that, our drinks are made to be taken between meals. Don't use them. We shouldn't be drinking anything with our meals. We really should not. Digestion is impaired when that happens. So if someone comes to us and has any of the issues we talked about up to now, so they're having a hard time healing, they're having autoimmune illnesses, they're having, so now I don't only think of people that are really coming with pain in their stomach. I'm thinking of anybody that's coming to me with any health issue that they're not getting better with. Now, with them, I'm going to tell them, okay, so definitely we're going to work on enzymes, and we're going to do a little bit more than what we do with package number 3. We're going to actually double up on the Verdezymes. So we're going to probably have you, start using it before you eat, maybe even during, and maybe even after you eat. So you've heard of people that sometimes use enzymes that way. There's a reason for that. Sometimes you think of the stomach as this balloon and you throw everything in there and you can just shake everything around and everything just moves. But it literally does it in levels. It doesn't shake everything around. The way things come and the way things are digested is like different floors in a building. So, and the stomach does that as well. So sometimes the digestion has issues at the beginning. Sometimes as it comes down, you have more issues. Sometimes as you come deeper before it goes into the small intestine. So illnesses that you've tried to help somebody with a lot and you just, I don't know what to do. Should I double up on the drinks? Should I double up on what? Think of enzymes. Think of just doubling up on that. Hey, if you're taking 2 after you eat, let's take 2 before you eat, or let's take 1 before you eat, and let's see with that change how you feel. Because now I'm giving them a little bit of digestion before and a little bit further ahead for people who have advanced illnesses and it's not getting better, and definitely for digestive issues that are not getting better at all. So that's eating and taking enzymes. You always have to remember that this product works 2 different ways. So when I take it with food, it helps me digest food. But when I take it on an empty stomach, it's helping me clean the blood. So that's why on the picture here, or on the slide here, we put always take enzymes on an empty stomach. So besides the fact that I'm taking enzymes when I eat, I'm also going to take it on an empty stomach. People do the detox number 7 and they wonder, well, why am I having 2 enzymes with dinner and then I go to sleep at night and I take 2 more? Because you want, when you're in that detox program, you want to do both things. You want to make sure you're digesting and you want to make sure you are cleaning the blood. Now, with autoimmune illnesses or with illnesses that are chronic, meaning I've had them for so long, this thing doesn't leave. It's not just a cold that goes away. It's arthritis that has been with me forever. It's whatever. It's just been with me forever. Think of enzymes twice on an empty stomach. Now that's a little bit hard to do for some people during the day because people are sometimes just eating and at different times of the day, or snacking. That's the word I was looking for. So, but there's always a way to do it, because at bedtime, you're on an empty stomach. And when you wake up, you're on an empty stomach. And as long as you wait 1 hour before eating, you have the advantage of 2 more enzymes helping you clean the blood. So think of that with people who have chronic illnesses. Before you start doubling up on everything else, double up on Verdezymes, and double up a lot. It's a very inexpensive product for the benefits that it does. So if I have to tell someone, hey, it's $22.95, just get yourself an extra bottle and let's do it a little different this month and see how you do when we up the dose, that's what we want to do. Find an extra moment where the person will be on an empty stomach, and then also make sure they're having it with every meal, eating enzymes with every meal. So we're thinking always of Verdezymes now with an autoimmune illness. We're thinking of it with any health imbalance. Okay, somebody said something. Okay, all right, so where was I? Okay, and so this is why it's on package number 3, package number 7. Okay, so we're always thinking of it because with autoimmune illnesses, the immune system is working more because the digestion is underworking. So the idea is, I always tell people that if something is working too much in the body, there's something working too little. That is so true with everything. You're gonna have in a factory people that slack off, and so the other ones have to pick up the pace for them. The body's the same. If something is working too much, look because something else is working too little. So in autoimmune illnesses, if the immune system is working too much, what is working too little? So now you have the answer to that. The digestive system is working too little. And so now I have to give enzymes because of that. So think of that as you move forward on helping people with chronic illnesses and autoimmune illnesses as well. Also think of Verdezymes for help with injuries. And here is why. You have an injury, you have a lot of redness, you have a lot of heat, you have a lot of swelling, you have a lot of pain, and we're like, what can I use to bring this down? What am I going to use? What do I throw at the body? Because I don't want the redness, I don't want the heat, I don't want the swelling. We need the redness, and we need the heat, and we need the swelling. That's the way the body heals. If you rush it, if you stop it, if you don't work with it, you are going to have a harder time healing. So don't be all about, how do I stop this? Because tomorrow this leg has to work perfectly. No, you're not letting, that's the problem with our society. So let it heal. And how do I help it? With enzymes, with Verdezymes. Because here's what Verdezymes does. When I take it on an empty stomach, and that's how I want to do it with injuries, I am going to reduce the thickness of the blood. So that's why we put it here on the PPT. Blood viscosity is reduced, and now what happens? Well, if my blood is less thicker, now oxygen will get to the traumatized tissue and nutrients will get to it as well. And and like we put here, every time near the injury, there's always cellular debris. And that's why we have a lot of pain and swelling and everything, because as cells build up, other ones are broken down or break down. And so what we want to do, and what Verdezymes will help us do, is it will break down that cellular debris. That debris is, you were sweeping dirt. So the dirt from the cells. So we now want it to be broken down a lot so that the lymphatic system can pick it up and take it away. And if the lymphatic system helps us doing that, because we're giving the body Verdezymes on an empty stomach, healing will be facilitated. And so now I don't have healing that drags on forever. So why is healing taking so long for some people? Because that's the question, right? Why can't I heal? I'm at 2-3 weeks and I'm still miserable. I'm not even progressing. Why? Because people are not using enzymes, and undigested food will cause inflammation in the body. And now on top of that, I hurt myself. So now the body has two things to do. I'm really wanting to heal you, but you gotta help me here, because I'm eating all this stuff and you're not digesting it. So the body has to decide, what do I do? If I help you with the healing, you're going to have a lot of other issues. So, and I need to help with the digestion, because that's the way I feed the body. So the body has to decide what to do, and everything will take a little longer. That's why enzymes are so important with injuries. We simply need to take them. We also need to take them. I'm gonna look at your notes or your messages in a minute, because I have to move around too many things to do it. Sorry. So processed, or turn on your microphone and talk. So, all right, so now I know with injuries. How about with processed foods? And if this is your life, or if this is your client's life, when you ask them, what are you eating? And they tell you, yep, I'm eating processed foods, and yep, there's no way around it. Again, there's no enzymes there. And so what happens? The body has to decide, am I going to use my energy for healing you, or am I going to use it for digestion? So when people come to us with hot flashes, when people come to us with periods that won't stop, when people come to us with, think of any illness, you know it, because you're thinking of your friends and your clients right now. Any illness they have, here's what the body's doing. Okay, you have this illness, but you're also eating all this stuff and you're not digesting it. So I have to split my time between two things. Why are people not healing? Because the body has to choose. The body has to split its time between two things. What if we gave it enzymes and all the food was digested? Now I don't have inflammation like I used to have. Now I don't have an immune system attacking it. Now I actually have time to use my energy to help you heal. So now I can help you with your hot flashes. Now I can help you with your pain in your joints. And on and on and on. So that's why Verdezymes are so important. You need them all the time, especially with people that are eating cooked food when there's no raw food. So I kind of always tell people, pick 2 days a week and mark them in your calendar, 2 days that are going to be vegetarian for you. And when I say vegetarian, I don't mean carbs, because that's what people think. Oh, no meat, but I can eat all the pasta and bread I want. No, what I mean is you're eating 80% raw, 20 cooked. And the 80% raw obviously is fruits and veggies. So teach people to give their body a break and incorporate enzymes. And you'll see that whatever illness they are addressing, they're going to have a better chance at addressing it correctly. We're going to have 3 different groups of people when they take SOL. I think this is so important to understand. There will be people that take SOL to prevent illness. And what does that mean? That all they're doing is, I don't want to have high blood pressure because my mom has it, or I don't want to have whatever my family has, diabetes or what have you. So I'm going to take this. What do I take for that? What do I take to avoid that? And then that's all they want to do. And that's all they want to take. And sometimes they'll tire, or whatever, but that's all they want to do. I want to take what I need to take to prevent my illness, and that's it. What are they not willing to do? They're not willing to make changes in their lifestyle. So they still want to do what? Well, they still want to go to sleep at 2 in the morning or 12, 1 in the morning. They still want to work as much as they can over time. They just want to have all this energy going constantly through them. They'll even tell you, what can I take to push through the day? And, oh, I read that cinnamate is a lifting drink. I think I'm going to do more of that so I can push myself more. So these are the people that are trying to prevent an illness, but they don't want to make any changes. They don't want to exercise. No, I'm actually feeling pretty good on Soul. I don't think I need to exercise. They still want to eat incorrectly. So that's one group of people we'll find. They're there just, I want to prevent what my family had. I hear your products are good, but I don't want to make any changes. What will happen to that group of people? They'll remain in the current state of health. They won't worsen because at least they're giving their body nutrients, but they're not going to be necessarily improving. Or they'll begin to improve a little, and then they'll find a month or two into their program, hey, what happened? Soul worked great for me the first month. What the heck? Now what happened? Yeah, your product line doesn't work. So with those individuals, we have to teach them, as you make changes, as you incorporate Soul and you have energy, you should do something good for yourself with that energy. And that's what the last section here is for. And we'll take a look at it in a minute. There's another group of people that only want to use Soul to treat illnesses. They'll always be at a standstill too. They won't be healthy because they only look at Soul when they're sick. That's the way people look at the doctors. What do I take when I'm sick? And that's it. So they'll still use Soul when they're sick to continue to push themselves. I have to get to work tomorrow. So what do you have in your arsenal of Soul that will help me get going so I can keep doing what I've always done? I don't want to change anything. I just want to treat the problem. Once they're done with Soul. And then you'll have people that are really, truly promoting wellness. And when that happens, those will be individuals that do progress towards health. Why? Why? Because now Soul gives them energy and they use it wisely to exercise. Now Soul gives them the ability to control their cravings. And so now they eat well. They choose, they decide, I'm going to eat different because I don't need the candy or I don't need the chocolate. Now that I have mental clarity that Soul is giving me, I don't have all these addictions, and I'm going to actually, I don't need them. I'm not going to depend on this stuff that I used to anymore. So they make changes. You know, now that I'm getting tired, it's 10 o'clock at night and I'm tired, I'm going to go to bed. Instead of thinking, gosh, I feel so good on Soul, I'm just going to work until 12 or 1 in the morning. So always help people to understand that Soul will help you get healthy only if you use it to make changes as you move along. And I'm getting a lot of people that are wondering, why did I start off so well and months down the line, I'm not feeling well? And this is why. These people are using Soul as a crutch. That's not how Soul and adaptogens are designed. They're actually designed to work very differently. So when you think in Verdezymes, or when you think of Verdezymes from now on, think of it, you should be able to think of it with a huge group of people. I mean, it's like anybody that has any type of illness needs Verdezymes, because the body's job, what it tries to do every day, is return you to health. Every day. It tries to protect you and repair you, but it cannot do it if your food is not digested. Your food has to be well digested. If not, you are making the body work more. There used to be a time when we would say, yeah, I need to digest my food because it's going to give me nutrients. Sadly, that's not the case nowadays. We don't have nutrients in the food we eat. There's a big push for organic and there's a big push for clean eating. And I will say that that's still very important that you have clean eating, because it makes the body work less. If I'm not eating processed food, but rather I'm making it at home, my body gets something that it can break down easier. There's no saturated fats. There's no garbage in there that now I don't know what to do with, you know, and then she doesn't eat enzymes or he doesn't eat enzymes. Now what do I do? The body says. So, but we can't depend on food like we did before to feed ourselves. So we do need the drinks from Soul, for example, and all the goodies that we get from Soul. But we need enzymes for another reason. We need them because no matter what we eat, even if we cook at home, and even if we do clean eating, there's still not enzymes in the food any longer. And so we are making the body work more. And the way we're going to avoid that is with enzymes. And that's the way we're going to be able to heal. And that's why our package number 3 and our package number 7 actually has those products, because it's designed for that. So I think Debbie said something before she left. Gotta run. Don't worry, fatty liver enzymes are the key. Enzymes are vital to the body functions. They are the catalysts that provide energy on a cellular level. Bye. Okay. Thanks, Debbie. Okay, so here are the reasons that and you've seen this before. I don't know if some of you are new jumping on, and that's why I wanted to put it here again. The reasons that these products from package number 3 are attached to or are part of this program. Here's why. We actually do a one-liner for every product so that you understand why they are there. A lot of you are using the initial balance number 3 and you've had amazing results. I was talking to someone today, and I love it when you guys come and tell me how awesome you're doing, because I was talking to someone today who was telling me ever since we got on the 4 drinks and our group has gotten on it and everything, we're just finding amazing results. The body is having reactions at first, but then it's balancing out. And you know, even if they're battling, like this girl in particular was telling me she was battling anxiety, and she felt that at first getting away from the adaptables and just doing this program, she was missing it, and she thought it was a lot of anxiety she was having. So at first she was adding it, and then interestingly she said, so I took it out, I'm just doing this, and actually felt great after the first month. I don't think I need as much adaptable as I was using, etc. So I have a lot of cases where on this program we add adaptable, you know, so you'll look online and you'll see that there is a package number 3 that does not have adaptable, and there is a package, I don't remember the number because I don't use it, and it does have adaptable, but it doesn't have ProBio IQ. I like this package that we made for our group because it does have ProBio IQ. So when I find the need for adaptable, I will add a bottle to this package. This is always the product the package I start off with. And now you understand why it's so important, and why Verdezymes is so important in this package. I've heard Greg say in the past that you can, or is it Lon? You can, or maybe both, you can make a whole, you can make a whole product or a whole line with just Verdezymes. You know, we could treat so many, or we could take care of so many things, is the appropriate wordage, verbiage, with just using Verdezymes. And that's true. That's true. And I think with the information you heard today, you'll realize that it is very important. Nothing will work in the body the way it has to unless we have the enzymes. So we do need it. And that basically covers what I wanted to share with you today. I'd love to hear from you guys and see if you have questions or comments on what we talked about, or just anything. What do you think? Does anybody want to open their mic and say something? Hi, Tom. Oh, Tom, you've got that voice again. But hi. I know. I don't know why it always does that, but it does. Yep, it sounds like, I forget what you sound like, Tom, but yeah.
Lydia?
Yes, go ahead. Who's talking?
It's Shelley.
Shelley, go ahead, Shelley.
A quick question. Love this info. Thank you so much. This just makes things so much clearer for me. And I understood the Verdezymes. You know, I knew they were important, but now I really understand why. You know, when we talk about menopause and the hot flashes, so this is the same kind of thing that the Verdezymes would work with. Am I right?
Yes.
Because that's that same concept of keeping things moving and clearing it out.
And we have a lot of things that are going on with menopause. You know, your hormones are out of whack. And if you don't have the right processing of fats, which is what's happening, people may and that's why you'll hear people that say, I'm taking the omegas, but I'm having an issue with it, or I feel like I'm burping it, or I feel like that should never happen with our plant omegas, ever. So that right away says you're not digesting them. So my suggestion always is use the enzymes, even for that. So I need fats for a healthy glandular system that will help me balance menopause, but I need the enzymes, because who cares? They can throw all the fat. I want
Right.
to the body, right? And if I
If we put it in, if it's not being used, it's not going to do us any good.
exactly.
Got it. Thanks, Lydia.
Yep, you're welcome. You're welcome. All right, ladies and gentlemen, what else? Do we have any comments or questions on anything that we were listening to today? Charlie, I'm so glad to see
I have a question.
Go ahead, Ron.
Rachel. So I also like to use Soul Complete, and I was told that I don't have to take Verdezymes if I'm drinking Soul Complete. So, because there's enzymes in that already. Do I understand that correctly?
There are enzymes in there, and that is, and you're getting something that's fairly raw in that product, so you probably won't need it with it. Yep, and it's the same holds true for anything that I'm eating that's raw and that's all I'm having. If I'm just gonna have a salad and that's all it is, or cucumbers or whatever, celery sticks, or and there's no meat of any kind, there's nothing cooked, I may not need the enzymes there, because the enzymes usually will be in raw food. That's when I don't need enzymes. So Soul Complete fits that category. I can tell myself, yeah, okay, if I'm mixing it in water, see, the minute I put it into something else, I'm going to need the enzymes. Even if I put it in coconut milk, even if I put it in almond milk, because some of that stuff is pasteurized. So now I'm going to have to break down something. But if you're doing it in water, you probably feel that you don't need it then.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Okay, so we're at 10. If you guys have no other comments, hi Tanya, hi Jennifer, 2 Jennifers, hi Kimberly. Okay, so why don't you guys all turn your mics on and say goodbye then, and thank you so much for joining us. I hope this helped you.
Thanks.
Good
Thank
night.
you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Good night, Linda.
Thank you. Thank you, Lydia.
Bye guys.